Welcome back to abettersociety.info. My name is Joe Bass. In this third of our 4 introductory videos, we're going to be discussing 4 concepts and the works of 3 researchers that we will be discussing in future videos. The first concept has to do with our somewhat unique human capability to organize ourselves in groups in order to accomplish more in a group than we could accomplish working alone. And this is a very powerful capability, and we use this in all sorts of situations. A person who lives in a somewhat complex society like I live in, we may be involved in a number of organizations throughout just a single day. One of them would be a family, another one would be maybe the place where we work, all the different places that we go to buy and purchase goods and services. I mean, each one of those is an organization that has been formed in order to accomplish a variety of goals. And we also have many volunteer organizations that we form for a variety of purposes. Some of them are to do good things for a community. Some of them we organize just for fun. And there's nothing wrong with fun, right? So this is an important capability that we have. Other creatures do not necessarily have this capability. I mean, for example, if you went to Montana and studied a beehive, honeybees are honeybees no matter where you go. The beehive in Montana will have exactly the same things going on as a beehive in Alabama. The bees in either place or anywhere you have a beehive, they're going to be doing pretty much the same thing. They're going to be making honey, and they're going to be making more bees. And that's what they do. And they do not change how they go about organizing their hive. All the bees do the same thing in all of the hives. But we humans can organize ourselves in a variety of different ways, and this is clearly an important capability. Now, sometimes when we organize something, it does really well in the beginning, and later on it doesn't do so well. Sometimes we organize ourselves, and right away we don't do well. But a lot of times we're able to do really wonderful things in organizing ourselves to accomplish a lot of activities in the world. And of course that is what this site is all about. How we organize ourselves, how we better do things together in groups and make things better for us all where we live. Now the second concept that we want to talk about, and actually it comes from a researcher, his name is Jared Diamond. Professor Diamond wrote a book called Guns, Germs, and Steel. And it's really a great book. Everybody should read it. I don't agree with all of his conclusions, but it has a lot of terrific information that indicates that he looked into it, did a lot of research before he wrote the book. Now, one of the really great things about the book is how Diamond went about looking at world history. I mean, it's a book of less than 500 pages, and he covers 13,000 years. And by doing what he did, he looked at very broad scope issues, broad historical patterns of human society. And it was this framework of thinking that he used to provide us with some really incredible and useful information about us humans. And of course, if we're going to do better in our societies, we have to study and understand ourselves and the societies that we create. The next researcher that we'd like to talk about his name is Abraham Maslow. And Maslow, he studied human motivation. Why do people do what they do? And in his study, he established that there was a hierarchy of needs. That the first level of need that people have is just simply to survive. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, we want to, do what we can to stay alive. But when we establish a situation where we feel fairly confident of staying alive, then we start to become concerned of the next level, which would be our safety concerns. And once we are pretty much satisfied with our safety concerns, then we start to be concerned about belonging to a group. And once that is reasonably well satisfied, then we become concerned about being recognized for what we do to contribute to the group. And the last level is just being able to be all that you can be, that you have certain natural capabilities, and you have been able to develop those capabilities to their fullest and utilize them out in the world. So those are very important concepts. Anytime I'm doing consulting work with a corporation or a government agency or a nonprofit, we're always going to be looking for the reasons for people doing what they do. And sometimes people do things that are counterproductive to the organization. And we sometimes need to identify what those things are and help people be different and do better. Now, the next researcher, the last one in our program today, his name is Murray Bowen. Now, a lot of people may not be real familiar with Murray Bowen. He was a psychiatrist who studied families. And there's a lot of great concepts that he developed. But one of the things that we have to understand is that he studied families, but the ideas that he developed will apply to any kind of a human organization, whether it's a family or a corporation or a government agency or whatever. He's looking into why people why they do the things they do, which is in somewhat more detail than Maslow's works. Now, if Bowen's books are somewhat academic, and not a lot of them are easily available. I think a lot of them are out of print, and you'd probably find them more in libraries. But Roberta Gilbert has a couple of books that deal with these concepts that are quite good. One of them is called The 8 Concepts of Bowen's Theory, and the other one is Extraordinary Leadership. And particularly in the Extraordinary Leadership book, she's dealing with how Bowen's concepts apply in organizational settings, not just the family settings where Bowen developed his theories. So one of the real important issues that we get out of Bowen, that I often, when I'm working with a company, maybe doing strategic planning or organizational reengineering or whatever, we want to be sure about people's thinking, about how they are going about looking at themselves as an organization. And one of our challenges is that we're very successful with technology. And so with technology, we develop certain thinking patterns. And we develop what I call circuit board management, that we try to think about an organizational situation as if it was a circuit board. And based upon what we understand from Bowen, that is not the case. That an organization is more of a dynamic, organic entity and you're going to get a whole lot further with your understanding of the organization and trying to make it better if you understand that it's not a circuit board. I mean, an organization isn't like on a circuit board, if you got some widget on here that doesn't work, well, you just pull that widget out and you put a new one in, and then maybe the circuit board is going to work. But a bunch of people in an organization are not like that circuit board. And so we have to look at organizations in a different light. I mean, if you have a new company president coming in, you can't assume that he's just going to be another widget up here just like the last widget. He's going to be a different person, or she's going to be a different person. And so the whole organizational dynamics are going to change based upon that new person coming onto the scene. And that's an important concept that we get from Bowen. So, hope that was interesting to you. It would be really good if you could look some of this up on the internet so that you can become a little more familiar with these ideas. The next time we have a video, it's going to be with Thinking About Thinking, which we've already introduced some of that concept in regard to Bowen's theories. So I'll talk with you later, and come back again. Thanks a lot. Bye.